Hey, what's up everyone? I wanted to highlight this very rare New Jedi Order bookstore promotional item. The future of the galaxy begins here, and where's here? They very helpfully point to the New Jedi Order logo. Of course, this is for Vector Prime by R.A. Salvatore. They've got the wonderful Vector Prime cover art here. We've got the Del Rey logo because this was the first book in the renewed Del Rey license after the Bantam era. We've got the Lucas Books logo and the copyright information circa 1999. There's also something here for a coupon. This was never actually punched out and used. Basically, this is a place to put like a coupon pad for, your reserve copy for pre-ordering your copy. It's a countertop display. You can see on the back the leg that folds out so it can stand on its own. This is just smaller than about 11 by 17 inches, but a really wonderful piece. I love seeing that cover art there at this dimension, at this size. The interesting thing about this, twofold. One, this piece itself is very rare. You just don't see these things very often. But when you talk about NJO bookstore promotional items, everything is rare. I mean, there just wasn't a lot of it produced. And it's sort of surprising when you think about comparable series and even just standalone books in the EU around this time. Truce of Bakura gets multiple different editions, both paperback and hardcover, of bookstore displays. There's a point of purchase poster you can rip off the display. I mean, the lengths they went to promote certain titles with all sorts of innovative promotional materials, and then with something like this, which in retrospect is this massively beloved epic maxi series, 19 volumes of hardcover books, or well, not all hardcover unless you get the Science Fiction Book Club, but 19 titles. Not every title gets its own dedicated promotional items. It's really sort of strange. And it's also strange too that there's really no what you might traditionally refer to as like a promotional poster for any aspect of the NJO or any individual title. Now, when it comes to the traditional bookstore displays, the display toppers, the types of things that I like to show off on the channel, there are a few, Vector Prime, Star by Star. A few of the books get some dedicated ones, but there's just as many sort of very generic display toppers. And I think for a practical reason, which is that then retailers can use them over the course of several different books in this very long maxi series, but it's still sort of surprising. Now, there's other things here and there that you can still find if you're lucky, that again are very rare, but there's like an NJO hat, there's an NJO pinback button, there's a variety of things. There's also a lot of sort of inside retailer sell sheet stuff that I've shown off on previous videos that are sort of trying to sell this stuff sort of from the licensees in Lucasfilm to the retailers who they're trying to convince to buy this stock so that they can sell it to you in stores. So there's stuff out there, don't get me wrong, but when you think about kind of the traditional categories of promotional items, right? Promo posters and various things, there's just very little of it, or at least not as much as you'd think there'd be. Now, there's always legends of people having at one point seen this type of thing or that type of thing. And I think in lots of cases, what you're talking about when you talk about NJO, there's again, like legends of someone having like a promotional poster of Vector Prime. I think what people tend to be referring to are the truly one-off insider things from licensees at conventions. As anybody who's been to a con will remember, behind the booths are massive oversized banners and posters of like upcoming titles, and those are things that I don't tend to refer to as promotional items. They're so one of one, right? And they're the types of things that, like, unless you're the person who made it or worked at the licensee at the time who was actually at the booth or had a direct connection to someone on the inside, you're just never going to see those things. So it's like, yeah, they're collectible, don't dismiss them if you find them, but there's almost no point in looking for them. I mean, there is just for all intents and purpose, right? Like nothing out there that really could appropriately be called a New Jedi Order promotional poster. If I'm wrong, tell me. But again, what's interesting about this debate is we just need to put some parameters on the types of terms we use. I mean, it's funny. Some people, and you'll see this on eBay a lot, and I think newer collectors, I think sometimes get easily tricked into thinking that like what's called a poster is actually just a print ad from a magazine or comic book that someone cut out, right? But again, occasionally these truly one-of-one things do find their way to the secondary market. I've got a couple myself, some things from Scholastic and DK that were the literally one-of-one banners or posters used at the convention booth that just do not have a second copy anywhere in the world. And those are great to have, right? But again, I mean, there may be someone out there who's got the Vector Prime poster, and good for them. I mean, it's worth a lot of money, but in terms of, kind of the average collector, it's just not something that anyone's ever going to have. So for all intents and purposes, stuff like this is proportionally part of a relatively small number of NJO bookstore promo items. For whatever reason, I wish there were more, but cool to have, cool to see. I just love, again, I love the dimension. I just love seeing, I mean, the size almost makes it as if like you got your hardcover out, you know, opened it up and laid it down, you know, page first, right? I mean, it's kind of like you're looking at sort of the front and back and at about the same dimensions. So it's just really striking. And I don't know if any of you guys, I mean, let me know in the comments if you guys remember seeing this at the time. This definitely would draw you into the next era of post-Bantam Star Wars storytelling. But anyway, more bookstore and beyond promo items to come.